Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV and Radio, where wisdom meets experience. Join a dynamic lineup of thought leaders, professionals, and changemakers from around the world. Dr. Madeline Chan from the UK, MARISKA Duprea from Australia, Red O'Loughlin from Texas, USA, Carolyn Heward from the UK, Zunette Lub from Cape Town, South Africa, as they share expert insights, personal journeys, and impactful strategies for success. Talking Heads isn't just a show, it's a global stage for education, collaboration, and inspiration. So elevate your knowledge, expand your perspective, engage in conversations that matter. Streaming globally, empowering locally, this is Talking Heads, only on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hello and welcome back to all our viewers and listeners, whether you are joining in and this is the very first time that you have me as your Talking Heads show or host, or whether you are a returning member of our community, welcome. And as mentioned, this is Talking Heads. I am MARISKA Duprea and I am going to be your expert presenter during today's topic, which we are looking at, well, something that leaders typically have a bit of a head scratch about when they have new team members joining the team. Now, the way that I've structured this is to help us not only when we have new team members joining the team, but also when we might be reshuffling the team. So it might be that we, as an organization, went through a restructure and the whole thing changed. And now we have old team members and new team members and everything is a little bit of a mix and quite confused. So we can utilize these tips and tricks in both scenarios, whether it's a brand new team member and the rest of your team stayed the same, or whether you had a bit of a mix and a shuffle and you have some new and some old team members that's now reporting to you within your leadership space. So normally, especially when it's a brand new team member coming in, we do remember that we need to give them the basic things like a place to sit, a PC to work on, some access to our variety of different software and systems that we are working on. We hopefully also remembered to make sure that they have access to some of the processes that we might be running. So in the case where we have HR departments and HR teams, they will remind us to send them on the inductions that they need to do, as well as ensuring that they enroll in their payroll systems and anything else that is related to that. It also is a good place for us to help the person get familiar with the different processes and systems that we have within our organization. Now, some of this might be a little bit faster than others, and some of the processes we will use on a regular basis. For instance, payroll is a monthly or a weekly occurrence, depending on how the person would be paid, whereas some of the other processes might be a little bit more long-term, and we have a bit more time before we need to enroll them in it. So that's all the physical things, helping this person get on board with what the hell is happening within this organization. And the part that I really want to focus on today is not necessarily all of those things because, well, I'm taking it as a given. We know that we need to do that. There's the human element. So being more human centric as a leader, we also want to ensure that the human space is covered in a way where it is conducive for all of us to be successful. And that's what I want to explore with you a little bit more today during our time together. So when you think about being human-centric, well, we know that we want to make sure that we have clear communication. So this person needs to understand the communication styles, how we do that within the team, within the organization. We want to also be empathetic to what it is that they're going through, right? They're brand new. They may know a few people in the organization. They may know nobody in the organization, and helping them to get the links for the proper places. So this might be introducing them to key members in other departments that they will regularly work with. Or it might be helping them to integrate into the team. So how do we actually physically do this? Because yes, this is great as a concept, but how does this work in real life? How do we actually do this? Now, what I typically do with my coaching clients is the very first time that we meet, we will go through a couple of questions so that I can understand how we can work together really well in order for this person that I'm coaching and helping to grow to get the most value out of what we are going to do together. And the way I do this is typically looking at 4 different things. The first thing that I want to look at is what they need as within a coaching space. Now, this might not apply to you because you are not coaching, but you are leading. So what you might need to think about is, how does this person need me to show up as a leader to enable them to do their work the way that I want them to do the work? So what is it that they need? What type of leadership style works best for them? And having this conversation at the beginning of our interactions help me as the leader to set my own expectations up. It also helps me to set up my team member in order for them to be successful in the way they work. So for some team members, especially more junior team members, it might be that they require a little bit more hand-holding, getting more clear around processes or procedures, or being physically introduced to some of the other team members or people in other departments. Whereas if we have somebody that's a little bit more senior, maybe they might not need that. But we also don't want to assume. So we want to make sure that we know what is it that this person will need. How can we set them up for success? And how can I be the leader to help that become a reality? So that would be the first question. The second one would be around accountability. So when we talk about accountability, especially in our leadership space, it's not only around what I'm expecting to see so that I know that you are accountable for the thing, because for some leaders, they want to see the step-by-step process. And for other leaders, they are a lot more relaxed and they don't need to see all of that. They have trust in the person already built in a different way. So depending on my expectations, I also want to make sure that I understand how this other human being works when it comes to accountability. Now, for different people, accountability looks different. Some of us like to have accountability buddies. And if I know that this person enjoys accountability buddies, I can see how I can team them up with someone. If, however, they don't necessarily need accountability buddy, but they need to be very clear as to the outcomes that's being required of them to chase, plus the deadlines that they need to hit, then that is something that I, as the leader, need to make sure we communicate very clearly in order to help them be accountable to what they need to be accountable for. So having this conversation also helps me as the leader set our interactions up in a way where I know exactly what I need to do to help this person be successful. Then after that, we also want to understand what is a good way of challenging them. Now, in work environments in general, we want to be challenged in a way where it feels like a stretch and we can grow, but it's not so much that it feels unattainable. Now, for different people, this might seem and feel different. For some people, we might give them a task and they're like, yes, this is big enough for me and it's bulky enough and I can just go and I can do it. And for the other person, especially, I'm not wanting to assume, and normally for the more junior staff, it might feel too big. So when it is so big, they might feel very overwhelmed and go, I don't even know where to start with this thing. It's just too much. So for them, a challenge might be giving them things in smaller pieces so that they can do it little bit by little bit. And understanding this is helpful for me as a leader because now I can see when I'm giving you a task, how am I supposed to structure it, right? Do I give you the whole thing all at once because that's what you enjoy doing and figuring it out for yourself? Or do you need it to be in smaller pieces in order for us to show the progress that we want to show, you keeping yourself accountable, and it doesn't feel overwhelming, but I still have the bigger picture in mind as the leader. So understanding this is also very helpful. And of course, this will depend on where we are within the organization. So when we are a little bit more frontline leadership or just a level removed from that, it might be that we need to do some stuff with smaller increments, whereas the further away we go, potentially the bigger increments or the more broad the thing is that we will give to the person that we've hired. So knowing what it is that helps them to function well also helps us to, again, set them up for success. So that's challenge. And then the fourth one is really agreeing how and when we will be able to resolve challenges. Now, first off, as a leader, I need to understand how would I know from this other person that something isn't working, right? Something that I'm doing, something that the team is doing, something in the organization or the setup, the system potentially. When will I know what would indicate to me that this human being in front of me are struggling and that it is not working, right? For some of us, we will just say it. We will. They might say, you know what, if it's not working, I'll come to you and I'll tell you. It's not working for me. These are the problems that I'm facing, and we can see how to resolve it. For other people, they might not be as forthcoming, especially when they find that they are struggling with something or that something is presenting a problem of some sort. And this is for a variety of different reasons. It might be that culturally, that is something that they see as potentially not looking good in the manager's eyes. So they want to get it fixed themselves. So they're not going to come and tell you. Whereas you might want them to come and tell you when it is a problem. And for other people, they might feel that it is a threat to them in some way, shape, or form. They might have had bad experiences before. So they might deal with it a little bit differently. So understanding how we as a leader can see exactly what is going on with this human being and how they handle these unknowns and these potential conflict situations is helpful, because now we know what those early signs might be. Now, this is also very hypothetical currently, because we are speaking to the person, but we don't quite know what it would look like when the pawpaw physically strikes the fan, right? Was it a frozen pawpaw and did it just go through the fan, or was there pieces that came off during the process? We don't know yet. So part of this agreement is also a evolving open conversation to say, well, we have agreed that If something isn't working for you, this is how it would look like. If something isn't working for me as the leader, this is how I typically react. So hopefully we have enough self-awareness to know how we typically react. And it might also be that there's a situation that throws us a curveball and we react a little bit different than our normal reaction. Or maybe something new came to light for us and we noticed something else within our reaction, or even for them. So this is a continuous open conversation. If there is anything that we need to adjust within our agreement, that is good. And we need to bring it up during preferably our one-on-one conversations when we are reviewing how things are going, how this person has performed within the time frame that we have, as well as what worked, what didn't work, and how we can address that. So that's something that normally for most leaders, we will set up some expectations, but we also need to make very sure that the expectations that we set up using the framework that I just explained also help us to set up those expectations, because now we become very clear as to how we are going to work together. We are still in an area or time when there hasn't been any friction, hopefully. So it is easy to have these discussions before there is a reason for some form of friction or tension within the relationship. It also gives us a good base to enter into any of those tension-like conversations, because we have had this conversation before. We can now go back and refer to it and say, well, you remember when we set up our alliance of how we want to work together? You mentioned that I would typically know that something isn't working for you by looking at these things, and I didn't notice them. So can you please explain to me what it is, what else there is that I might need to look for in order to ensure that we can work well together? Because that's really what we want. We want to be successful, not only as individuals, but also for our team. And within leadership space, that is really, really important, because we are looking after the team. This conversation between me and the employee also needs to happen within the team space. Remember, you have one or maybe more new people being introduced to the team. So the team dynamic will change. It's not a if it is going to change or it might change. It is a fact. It will change. Because if you think of all your team members and you allocate a color to each one of them, right? And say one of your team members colored yellow. And now we take yellow out because yellow resigned, and we bring a new team member in. Now this team member might be more of a mustard. They're not quite yellow. They're more a mustard color. Now, when we bring that person in, the whole combination of colors that we can make quite different. They have different strengths, they have different personality traits, they have different likes and dislikes. So the way that we work together will be different. And this also means that the way that the team works together and the new team entity that gets formed will be different. Even if we replaced the person with another blue and we already have a blue, your types of interactions will also be different. So understanding that that would change, it's also helpful to utilize exactly the same approach with the entire team so that we can, as a team, understand what is acceptable behavior. How do we raise anything that might cause tension if it's between team members and within the entire team space? How do we handle that? And how do we have these conversations in a way where it is human-centric? We aren't only numbers on a piece of paper. We are working with a whole bunch of human beings that brings extraordinary gifts to our team. And the best way for us to get the most value out of those gifts is actually using them. But a lot of the time, we forget that we can use them. And we just try to fill spaces. So understanding this for ourselves as a leader is very, very helpful to not only help our new team member to integrate into the team really well, but also helping the rest of the team to support this team member and be supported by us as the leader as well as this team member during this integration process. Now, of course, as I mentioned, this will also be something that you can keep in mind when you are going through a restructure. In a restructure, for most of us, we will lose team members. We won't necessarily add them. Sometimes we do add them, but most of the times we will lose them. Now, if you, again, think about your team as a bunch of colors, and you allocate a color to each team member, and you lose two of them. Say, for instance, we have a blue, a red, a yellow, a green, and an orange. And we lose a blue and we lose a red. Now we have a green, an orange, and a yellow. The types of colors that you can now come up with, right, might not be a pure red or a pure blue anymore, because with a green, a yellow, and an orange, you can't quite make those colors, but you can make other colors. So understanding how that dynamic changed also helps us to then come up with a new way of working together. Because of the reduction, we will also most probably have more work. So less people, more work. And seeing it makes it even more important to ensure that we can rely on each other's strengths. And maybe we don't only do the top strengths, but we might go for the next level strengths. So when you think about your team members in general, the way that I like to go about it is to score the strengths, because I am really, really good at some things. And if I were to be in school, I would have gotten A+ for them. Then there's other things that maybe I would get an A for it. Still really good at them. Then there's other things that I might get a B at. So yeah, I can do them. Might take me a little bit more time, but they're still really good. And then I have my C, D, and E subjects. So the C's, yeah, I can do it. It takes me a long time, and it won't quite be the quality that I want it to be. The D's, of course, even longer, quality even worse. And the E's, well, I prefer not to do them at all. If at all possible, I will avoid them in all likelihood. So if you think about your team members that way, think about what's the strengths that they're bringing and try with them to rate their different strengths so that we utilize the A's, the A+, the A's and the B's more often. And wherever we can, we try and avoid the C's, the D's, and absolutely avoid the E's, so that we set them up for success and we set ourselves up for success within the process too. So with that, that is the basic way for you to integrate a new team member into your space, whether it is a restructure or it is the fun of a new hire. This, of course, will also take some time because we take time to learn and adjust to our new environment and our new space. And when we have these basic things where we have agreed upon certain ways of being together, it is immensely valuable for us to speed up that process where we can work well together without hitting too many bumps. And when we hit the bumps, we at least know what to do about them, instead of throwing all the toys out the cot and not having a clue where to go or what to do. So with that, I look forward to seeing you at my next Talking Heads session. And if there's anything else that you would like to browse on relating to being a human-centric leader, you can do so by contacting me via my LinkedIn, which is Mariska de Prier. Or alternatively, you can also find me on my website, which is journey2discover.com. You will find there a contact me form, or you can also contact me via my email address, which is mariska@journey2discover.com. And the spelling for my name, MARISKA. So with that, I look forward to seeing you in our next episode of Talking Heads and seeing how we can level up your skills as a leader to be more human-centric. And please do go and like and follow all our YouTube videos that we have in the USA Global TV and Radio Network space. Until next time, bye-bye for now.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day. Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, only here on USA Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
The moon is a spotlight, the sun's on the stage, the world's got some good seats, but nobody stays. They get their opinions, I've got mine too. So, darling, please listen to what I say. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. If our love isn't true, what can I do? Reinventing myself, letting go.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.